A river never asks the mountain to give it direction, and yet it finds its way to the ocean. The sun does not plead for the sky to embrace it, and yet it rises each morning without fail. The tree does not beg the birds to rest upon its branches, and yet they come seeking shelter. Nature teaches us an essential truth: those who hold their essence with grace and wisdom never need to beg for attention, they become the source of attraction itself. In life, many people find themselves in an endless cycle of seeking validation. They chase after others, hoping to be noticed, craving to be valued, and desperate to be loved. But what happens when you stop running? What happens when, instead of chasing, you become the one who is sought after? Buddhist wisdom tells us, the one who clings suffers, the one who lets go finds freedom. The moment you beg for attention, you place yourself beneath others, making your worth dependent on their approval. True power does not come from seeking, it comes from being. And when you cultivate your inner self, the world will turn to you without you having to ask. In this teaching, we will explore 3 fundamental Zen principles that, when followed, will make people naturally drawn to you, making them long for your presence without you ever having to beg. Let us begin our journey with a story. The story of the silent monk and the restless merchant. There was once a well-known merchant whose name echoed in every marketplace. His riches overflowed, his influence spread far and wide, and yet, despite his wealth and status, he felt invisible. He was surrounded by people who spoke to him only when they needed something. His friends seemed to drift away the moment they found new opportunities. No matter how much gold he spent on lavish gifts or extravagant feasts, attention would slip through his fingers like grains of sand. One day, while traveling in search of rare goods, he heard of a silent monk who lived atop a mountain. This monk, though he spoke not a word, had countless visitors who came from far and wide to seek his wisdom. Kings, poets, warriors, and lovers, people from all walks of life would climb the treacherous path just to sit in his presence. The merchant, desperate to understand the secret behind this monk's unshakable influence, decided to visit him. After a long and exhausting journey, he reached the monastery and was guided to where the silent monk sat in deep meditation beneath an ancient tree. The merchant, impatient as ever, blurted out, "Tell me, wise one, why is it that I, who possess wealth and power, must beg for attention, while you, who possess nothing, are sought after by all?" The monk did not answer. He simply picked up a small cup, walked to a nearby stream, and filled it with water. Then, he placed the cup before the merchant and returned to his meditation. The merchant stared at the cup in confusion. "What does this mean?" he demanded, but the monk remained silent. At first, the merchant was frustrated, but as he watched the stillness of the cup, a realization struck him. The water was clear, calm, and pure. It did not move, yet it reflected the sky above. It did not call out, yet birds came to drink from it. It did not chase the wind, yet the breeze gently rippled its surface, and so, the merchant began to learn the first lesson. 1. Master the art of presence. The monk's cup of water symbolized presence. True presence does not demand attention. It invites it naturally. When you are deeply present, people can feel it. They are drawn to you, not because you ask for their attention, but because your energy becomes magnetic. Zen teaches us that the mind of a seeker is restless, always moving, always chasing. But the mind of the wise is still, like a pond that reflects the moon. In life, when you are fully engaged in the present moment, whether in conversation, work, or solitude, you radiate a powerful energy. People crave presence because it is rare. Most are distracted, lost in their thoughts, seeking validation elsewhere. But the one who is fully present becomes a source of calm and clarity. the merchant realized that his mind was always filled with worry about how others saw him. He was never truly present, he was always plotting how to impress, how to gain attention. And that was why people never truly valued his presence. Determined to change, he spent days in silence, observing the monk, absorbing the tranquility that surrounded him. Slowly, he learned to let go of his constant need for validation, and soon, people started noticing him differently, not as a desperate merchant, but as a man of presence. 2. Embody self-sufficiency. One day, the merchant asked the monk, "But if I stop seeking attention, won't people forget me? Won't they leave me behind?" The monk smiled for the first time. Then, he took a handful of seeds and scattered them onto the ground. The next day, the merchant saw birds flocking to where the seeds had been dropped. The monk then picked up another handful of seeds, but this time, he held them tightly in his fist. The birds circled around him but did not approach. Eventually, they flew away. The merchant understood the lesson instantly. Neediness repels, abundance attracts. When you are full within yourself, when you do not need others to validate your worth, people will naturally gravitate towards you. But if you clutch onto them too tightly, they will slip away. Zen teaches us that the tree does not beg the sun for light, it simply grows towards it. The river does not plead with the sky for rain, it simply flows where it must. When you embody self-sufficiency, when you cultivate your mind, heart, and soul, you become the source of what others seek. The merchant began to shift his mindset. He stopped trying to buy people's attention with gifts and favors. Instead, he worked on his inner world. He practiced meditation, sharpened his mind, and cultivated wisdom. Slowly, people began to notice his strength, his independence, his confidence, and without realizing it, they began to seek his presence. 3. Become the source, not the seeker. One evening, the monk pointed to the setting sun and then gestured towards the stars that began to emerge in the sky. The merchant watched in awe as the sky transformed before him. The monk then pressed his hand against his chest, his silent way of saying, "Be like the sun. Be like the stars." The sun does not chase the night, it simply shines. The stars do not beg to be seen, they simply glow, and so it must be with you. Do not seek attention, become the source of something greater. Build your mind, nurture your spirit, and let your light shine. Those who recognize it will come. Those who do not were never meant to. The merchant returned to his life, forever changed. He no longer sought validation from others. Instead, he focused on mastering his presence, embracing his self-sufficiency, and becoming a source of wisdom and strength. And in time, the very people who once ignored him began seeking him out. Not because he begged for their attention, but because he no longer needed it. The power of letting go. Zen reminds us that true influence does not come from asking others to see us, it comes from embodying something so powerful that they cannot help but take notice. Do not beg for love. Become love, do not seek approval. Approve of yourself, do not chase attention. Become someone worth paying attention to, and when you do, the world will turn its eyes towards you, not because you asked, but because you became the one who could no longer be ignored. The power of letting go and becoming magnetic. At the core of these teachings lies the profound truth of non-attachment. In Buddhist philosophy, attachment is the root of suffering. When we crave attention, approval, or validation from others, we unknowingly place our happiness in their hands. But when we let go, when we stop seeking and start being, something magical happens. We become magnetic. The irony of life is that the more you chase, the further things run from you. But the moment you release the need to grasp, things naturally fall into place. It is not about being indifferent or emotionally closed off, it is about understanding that your value is not determined by how others see you, but by how deeply you have cultivated yourself. Let's reflect on the 3 lessons once more. 1. Master the art of presence. Presence is powerful. When you are deeply engaged in the moment, whether in conversation, work, or solitude, people feel your energy. It is rare to meet someone who is fully present. Most people are lost in their thoughts, distractions, or insecurities. But the one who listens deeply, speaks with intent, and acts with clarity becomes irresistible. Think about the people you admire the most. Are they the ones who beg for attention? Or are they the ones whose mere presence commands respect? The silent monk in our story never spoke a word, yet kings and commoners alike sought him out. Why? Because his stillness was a reflection of something the world desperately needed: clarity, wisdom, and peace. When you cultivate deep presence, people will be drawn to you, not because you seek them, but because you offer something rare in a noisy world: authenticity and awareness. 2. Embody self-sufficiency. Nothing is more attractive than a person who does not need anything from others to feel complete. It is not arrogance, it is inner strength. When you are full within yourself, when your mind is sharp, your heart is at peace, and your soul is nourished, people will feel it. The desperate merchant in our story chased attention, only to realize that it pushed people away. But when he became self-sufficient, something shifted. Instead of asking for attention, he became someone people naturally gravitated towards. Look around in your own life. Who do people respect the most? The one who constantly seeks approval? Or the one who stands firm in their own being? The moment you stop needing others to make you feel worthy, they will start valuing you more. 3. Become the source, not the seeker. Most people chase. They chase love, success, attention, admiration. But what if, instead of chasing, you became the source of what others seek? Instead of seeking love, become a person filled with love. Instead of chasing success, become the kind of person who attracts success effortlessly. Instead of craving attention, become so interesting, so valuable, so insightful that people naturally want to be around you. The sun does not ask the earth to orbit it, it simply shines. The stars do not beg to be seen, they simply glow. And in the same way, you must not seek to be noticed, simply become someone worth noticing. When you develop your mind, your skills, your inner peace, and your purpose, you become the kind of person people want in their lives, not because you asked, but because you offer something the world is hungry for. You are already enough. At the heart of all Buddhist and Zen teachings is the realization that you are already enough. The world has conditioned you to believe that you must seek approval, that you must chase love, that you must work tirelessly for recognition. But the truth is this: you do not need to be seen to be valuable. You do not need to be loved to be whole. You do not need validation to be worthy. The moment you stop begging for attention, the moment you stop seeking approval, is the moment people will start seeing your true worth. And the greatest paradox: by the time they finally realize how valuable you are, you will no longer need their validation, because you will have already found it within yourself. Thanks for watching. Hope enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Just click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you'd like to see next. See you in the next video.